Last summer, hundreds of employees of the tech behemoth Microsoft signed a petition demanding that their company refuse any and all contracts with ICE, Federal Immigration Enforcement. The company caved to that demand almost immediately. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella sent out a company-wide email denouncing this country's immigration policies and announcing that Microsoft would refuse any contract, quote, related to separating children from their families at the border. Now, that might give you the impression that Microsoft is morally opposed to imprisoning people, but that is definitely not the case. In fact, Microsoft is entirely fine with throwing innocent people behind bars, just as long as it's fascist regimes doing the imprisoning, and of course, as long as Microsoft can make a buck by participating in it. Microsoft has invested or partnered with at least 3 Chinese companies that develop AI and facial recognition technologies that are used by China's military and secret police. Microsoft was an early investor, for instance, in Deep Glint. That's a company that helps the Chinese government identify and imprison Uyghur Muslims, hundreds of thousands of whom have been sent with Microsoft's help indirectly to rot in concentration camps. So that's something they can feel good about. Then in 2017, Microsoft partnered with Yitu Technologies. That's another company that supplies facial recognition software to the Chinese fascists, which the Chinese government has used to crush the Uyghurs. And if you think that's creepy and disgusting, how about this? Microsoft has also partnered with a Chinese startup called Hydata. Hydata produces lip-reading technology. The company boasts that their software is 80% successful at English language lip reading. Think about that.
Hello.
It's good news for China's brutal police state, which is using this technology to further repress its own population. Thanks, Microsoft. Additionally, Microsoft researchers have worked with a Chinese military-run university on artificial intelligence research that could be used for surveillance and censorship. These papers were published in 2018 after it was known that China uses facial recognition to imprison Uyghur Muslims. One of the papers described an AI method for analyzing human faces. It's all very interesting, coming from the same company that refused to work with an American police department which requested facial recognition tech and body cameras. Microsoft called that a human rights concern, but only when it happened in America. So we asked Microsoft for comment on all of this. It would be interesting to know the ethics behind these decisions. Microsoft refuses to help our country protect its own borders or police its own streets, and yet they're delighted to help the Chinese government commit some of the worst human rights abuses in the world and get rich doing it. What's the thinking here exactly? Well, Microsoft gave us a statement on all this, but didn't answer any of those questions. We're not surprised.